Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. What brings you joy? If money was not an object, if it didn't matter, if you had all the money in the world, if you had all the free time in the world, what would you do? Think about it. And what I want you to do, because this just came in, what is stopping you? Why aren't you doing it? When you think about, well, I'd really love to do this, and not from a judgment place. I'm not judging you. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm not anything. When you think about, well, if I had all the money in the world, if I had all the free time in the world, I would love to do this. Think about what you really truly want to do. And it's not because, oh, I'd make $1 million or I'd be rich or, but what really truly brings you happiness? Because again, remember, you have all the money that you need. So it's not, I'm going to do this to make money. I'm going to do this because it's not about the money. It's what brings me joy. And then I want you to ask yourself, and this is where you've got to be honest with yourself. This is where you have to be real and raw and unobjective and non-judgmental and just let it go. And then once you come up with whatever it is, I want you to then say, why am I not doing it? What is stopping me from doing it? And usually it's, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources. So therefore, what happens? You let it go. You just put it on a back burner, or you just like, okay, well, that'll never happen. I want you to shift your mindset. Because you can do anything you want. Because you are different than me. You have a desire that I don't have. When you honestly come from that place of, you know what, if I had all the money in the world, if I could do anything in the world I wanted, this would be it. It's on your heart for a reason. That's what you're here to do. And it's not, we've been geared to think that your purpose has to make you $1 million or make you rich or whatever. It's not about the money. It's about what the money would do for you. Because I have seen so many times, whether it be basically with me, I've seen other people do this, where it's not about the money. The resources come in to help you achieve whatever it is that you truly want to do. Prime example. When I was I've always enjoyed baking because I'm good at it. I just happen to be good at it. When I realized, and it's a long story, but I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. When I realized I wanted to open a bakery and I wanted to bake and decorate cakes, because that is what made me happy. It wasn't about how much money can I make. I came from a place of, I don't care, I'll just do it. The universe steps in to help you line all of it up. You have to be open to the fact that, okay, I don't have to have money. If it's meant to be, it will be. Because I remember my ex-husband, this is when I was with him, other people would ask me, well, how many cakes do you have to do to support yourself, to buy what you need, or open your store? I didn't sit and go, okay, well, because honestly, when I sat and I thought, okay, well, I only charge X for a cake, I would have to make a butt ton of cakes to pay a rent. And then what does that do? That deflates you, because you think, there's no way because I did. I was like, there's no way in the world I can make that many cakes, because it was just me. How many of you can relate to this? It doesn't have to be a bakery. It's whatever you want to do. How many times do you get lost in the details and how much money it's going to take to make it happen? And then you think, oh, well, I don't have that much money. There's no way I can make that happen. I'm here to tell you, let that go. Stop worrying about how much money it's going to take to make anything happen. Because when I just said, you know what, I don't know, because I would tell him, I don't know and I don't care. I just want to bake. I just want to create artwork. Because I did the 3D artwork on cakes. That was where my passion was. That was what my joy was. In the meantime, because of life situations, which everything happens for a reason, I became a deputy. In that, how all that played out was all part of the equation. Because while I was a deputy, I was still baking from home. I was still doing my passion. Again, it wasn't about the money. This is what I enjoy doing. People would say, hey, I need a cake. I would make a cake. And I would charge them for it. Because it costs to buy the ingredients. Everything unfolded in the sheriff's office, including me getting in trouble again. Well, okay, the first time I got in trouble, which, again, everything, I sit now and I laugh at it. Because I got in trouble, and while I was being punished, I was like, okay, I'm sitting here doing absolutely freaking nothing. I'm going to use this time for me. So I did all the paperwork, all the investigation, all the everything I needed to do to certify my kitchen at home. I would go home at night and I would clean. My husband and I revamped our shed so the cats could go out there to get them out of the house, because you can't have pets in your house when you bake, or you have to close off your kitchen. That was not going to happen in my house because of the way that floor plan was. Anyway, so I used this time to get all that stuff done, right? I get out of that punishment and going about my day again. I get in trouble again. Not purposely. Don't tell me do what you need to do to get to court on time when I'm driving a car, and then get mad at me because I get there on time, but it wasn't the way you think I should have done it. Yes, when I was with animal control, I ran code a lot. A lot. You're on one side of the county, you're working the entire county by yourself. You got to get to the other side of the county like right now because there's an aggressive dog. There's something happening. There's a rabid situation you got to get to. Yeah, you hit lights, siren, you roll, right? So when I became a deputy, it was nothing for me to think about hitting my lights and siren and rolling to get to where I needed to be. Now, I'm just going to tell you the fact that I had an inmate in the back of the car. I was transporting him to the jail. Kind of went against policy. However, my sergeant told me, do what you need to do to get to court. I said, okay. So I hit the lights, the siren, and I took off. Now, I did get to jail, and I told the inmate, I said, buckle up, you're going to be okay. Get to jail, I get him out of the car, I said, are you okay? And he was like, hell yeah. He was like, I've never been in a car that fast in my life. That was awesome. That was probably what saved my fanny. I'm just going to tell you. Anyway. So my sergeant was not happy. They put me in the street for 2 weeks without pay, stripped me of all my stuff, right? Okay. And I'm telling you, all this happened for a reason. Most people would get upset. Most people would be like, oh my God. No. I was like, okay. I went home and I took orders. I started baking. I had called the Department of Agriculture and I said, I need you to come certify my kitchen. They came the week before I went back to work. The ladies are sitting there at the table and I said, okay, what's my next step? And they said, start baking. I was like, what? It's that easy? She's like, your kitchen is cleaner than most restaurants we go into, most businesses we go into. Your kitchen is immaculate. Start baking. And your stuff is good. So I was like, okay. Did I expect that to happen? No. I figured it was going to be a week's process. So when my 2 weeks were up, I went back and I turned in my badge and my gun and I said, here, I'm done. Oh, the day I went back, I had planned to quit anyway. They couldn't even find my gun. So it was like I wasn't supposed to go back anyway. Because I go in there with all my stuff in my car. Well, I wasn't even in my car because they took my car. So I go in there and they're like, Pam, where's your gun? And I said, I don't know. I forget, Major somebody, Captain, took it when you put me in the street. I don't know where he put it. He's on vacation. They could not find it. So I said, okay, that's okay because I'm quitting. I'm going to go home and bake. If I had not done that, I would not have had time to get all the orders I had for that coming weekend done, because I had a butt ton of orders that coming weekend that needed to be filled. So I got to go home and from then on, I got to work my passion until it was time to close that chapter. I did not worry about money. I didn't worry about how am I going to make this happen. I just took steps as I was guided. I didn't let the punishment. Yeah, the punishment kind of pissed me off because I don't know. I think the major got his panties in a wad because he thought I did something and I said, no, I didn't. And therefore he thought I was lying. You know what? He can get over it. I didn't have a whole lot of respect for him anyway. But it all happened for a reason. So again, when you let things go and you understand that everything happens for a reason, and you don't worry about the money or how you're going to make it happen, and you let go of the outcome, because again, I look back on that situation and I laugh because there's no way I could have made all that stuff happen. I didn't get in trouble for a reason. The universe knew what it was going to take to get me out of that job, because it was one of the, I wasn't, my lieutenant hated me because I really don't know why. My sergeant was like, Pam, I just don't get it. I don't know why she hates you. It doesn't matter. It was the worst. She was the worst part of the job. But it was for a reason. Because again, if things make you uncomfortable, it's for a reason. Usually you're not supposed to be there. When you come from, just like my last job, the security manager, they changed, all I wanted to do was be free and just live my life and not have to work, not have to go to a job. I wanted to help people. Management changed. The part of the job as a manager that I would have rather eaten my gun was the personnel part. Hiring people, scheduling, dealing with all that nonsense. I hated it. Hated it. It was the most stressful part of my job. And when my boss called me and said, Pam, we're restructuring everything, we're breaking everything down, this is what I would like you to do. I said, you've got to be kidding. There was no second thought. I said, no, you can't pay me enough. And he told me, I get it, because if I had not gotten my job when I was a manager, that part of the job would have made me quit. And I said, well, there you go. I said, I'm not doing it. And he tried everything he knew to keep me with the company, but it just didn't work. It was the most pleasant exit from a job I've ever had in my life. Now, I get to live my life. I get to be free. I get to help people. I get to do exactly what I want to do. And I don't worry about, oh my God, how am I going to make it happen? So, what's stopping you? You have that desire for a reason. You just have to get out of your own way. And not and flush the limiting beliefs. Because there are more ways to attain whatever it is you're looking to do than for you to work in a job and make money. Now, I'm not saying that's not an option. If you love your job, if you truly love your job, that's fine. If you're just going to a job to get a paycheck, you need another job. You need to figure out what it is you want to do. So, and I'm not anything special. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm here to, I guess, pave the way to show you it's possible. I'm here for things to happen. You know, I call it manifestation, call it law of attraction, I just call it life. The way life is supposed to be. That, you know, and I'll be honest. I'm always honest. I never lied to you. I'm just going to tell you. I have manifested, if you want to call it that, my whole life. When things slowed down is when I learned what manifestation was. Because then I was trying to make it happen. Now, I don't try to make it happen anymore. I just let it go. I know what I want. I put it out there. Okay, this is what I want. This is the life I would like to live. This is what I would like to have in my existence. And then I let the universe work its magic. And I don't judge how things happen. You know, I look at, crap, even with my husband. You know, I don't even remember what we were talking about last night. Something about the 2.5 years that we've been together, and it hasn't been a smooth ride. And I look at the two times, twice. I was like, okay, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. Out. You're gone. The first time, it was such a blessing. He ended up in a house that was completely paid for a month, having hyperbaric treatments. How he got there wasn't fun. But again, stop judging. The next time he found, again, did I enjoy getting in trouble at the sheriff's office? Being put in the street for 2 weeks? Sitting on a door in the most boring freaking courthouse? No. But you know what? It happened for a reason. This last time, again, was it fun? No. But he connected with a guy that has a company and works for an organization that gets to help people with construction stuff, which is what my husband wanted to do. He's like, this is what I would love to do. So the universe said, okay, this is how we're going to make it happen. It's not for me to judge. So that's what he gets to do. He gets to go help people. And he loves it. And he loves the guy he works with. I could go on and on. But I'm already 25 minutes into this. I'm telling you, what is it that you want? What do you want to do? And you know what? If it's do nothing but be service to others. Now, the universe doesn't want you just sitting on your butt all day watching TV. No, that's service to self. No. Even if you're a mom and you want to be a stay-at-home mom so you can raise your kids and take care of the house. It is possible. It is feasible. And it doesn't matter whether you're a single parent or you're married. When you allow the universe to work its magic, things that you don't even know exist will come into your reality when you're open to it. And make sure you add the caveat of it's for the highest and best of all involved. Always. And it's this or something better. Because like I told my husband this morning, I said, you know, you have to be specific but open. You know, when I moved here, I said, I wanted, from my last house, I said I wanted a bigger house. I got a bigger house. My last house was 792 square feet. This one is 1,144. It's bigger. I did not specify how much bigger. But at that point, like I told him, I said it was just me. I didn't have any pets. My daughter hated me. There was no body in my life. I had nobody. So this house was perfect for me. Now it's time to expand to the next house. And the universe knows that. It's time. It will happen exactly when it's meant to happen, just like this one did. It's not up to me to figure out how it's going to happen. It's not up to me to figure out how I'm going to pay for it. It will just happen. However it's meant to happen, for the highest and best of all involved. And I know the house that I want. It'll be that or something better. I've seen the house. It happens to be pending at the moment with somebody else, but that's okay. If it's meant to be mine, it'll be mine. If not, I'm not going to get wigged out about it. There's something even better. It's like all the shops that when I went to open a store for my bakery. When I had made enough stuff, and when I decided, okay, it's time to expand out of my house, I want a shop. I can't tell you how many places I went and how many buildings I looked at that fell through. Nobody would call me back. They'd call me back and it would be astronomical, the rent or whatever. Until one day I just found a little store that was open, and I called, and the rent was like half of what everybody else was. And it was perfect. Perfect. And again, I had more business than I could handle myself. I had to turn people away sometimes. Then I went into wedding cakes, and I had weddings every weekend. Every weekend. Sometimes 2 and 3 weddings I had to do cakes for. I got to do cakes for. In one weekend by myself. Now, granted, yes, I wrangled my husband, and he would help me deliver the cakes until I hired a little girl that was a godsend. So, again, everything happens, and I made more money than I needed to pay my bills and to pay me and to pay everything else because I let it go. I didn't worry about how I was going to make it happen. I didn't sit and go, oh my God, I've only done 2 cakes this week. I need to do 5 more, or whatever it would have been. I hope this helps you. Again, what is it that you want to do? And then, why aren't you doing it? I love you. I want everybody to live their passion. That's what we're here for. This is stepping out of the matrix. This is breaking free from the limiting beliefs, the chains that are holding you back, the control. So click the like button, subscribe to my channel. Let me know, if you need help clearing your limiting beliefs, I have 2 books that will help you. I will link them below. We can do a theta healing session and clear limiting beliefs, because it comes from somewhere. Once you know what it is and where it comes from, you can clear it. Some people need help clearing that, and that's okay. That's what I'm here for. So anyway, have an amazing day. I send you so much gratitude, and we will talk later.